So how to approach institutions, organizations? As I've said, nature and function. ये दोनों सिर्फ these two things you have to know. You have to know the nature. You have to know the function. The moment you know the nature of an organization, the moment you know the function of an organization, you will guarantee you will be getting the question correct. This question had come in 2025. Now let's say you go to the examination center. How many of you had known Nature Solutions Finance Hub for Asia and Pacific? सच बताइए, किसको पता था? But how many of you have known these banks? PYQs में है. AIIB have been asked 4 times. NDB has been asked 2 times. Right? IBRD is very important. Why? IBRD part of World Bank, right? So we know these things, right? We don't know this particular thing. So what should be the approach to this particular question? What you do, we don't take attention or don't pay attention to this particular initiative. हम लोग ना ढूंढना शुरू कर देते हैं कि ये वाला कौन सा होगा. We do that, right? I'm going to change your thought process remarkably, and you will never get such questions incorrect. In such questions, what you have to do is this, that when you have gotten this term, Nature Solutions Finance Hub for Asia and the Pacific, right? Don't look at these options initially. Please, don't look at it. The moment you look at these options, the moment you see, and you have to wire your brain towards it, you wire your cognitive thinking towards in this manner. The moment you see this particular initiative or question, we try to find kaun sa hoga, and here you will make mistake. So what to do? The moment this question comes, first what you have to do is that you have to break this initiative, break it down as minute as possible. Give 30 seconds, give 40 seconds, give time here, not in choosing kaun sa hoga. Now tell me somebody, anybody, Nature Solution Finance Hub for Asia and Pacific, what kind of information we can draw from this term? Any information? Nature development के लिए ठीक है, excellent. Sustainability, nature development. Then you have sustainability, right? Sustainability. My handwriting is very poor. So then what else? What other information you can draw from this particular? इसको मत देखो, सिर्फ इससे, like just check this one. Blue economy, yes, excellent. Blue economy, बहुत ही बढ़िया. Asia Pacific, excellent. Asia Pacific, blue economy, ठीक है. So can we say that finance है तो like we need money, right? We need money, ठीक है. We have gotten all these information, right? Now what did I tell you? कि nature and function. Nature and function. We know all these banks, ठीक है. एक एक करके आते हैं, नीचे से जाते हैं ऊपर. IBRD is part of which? World Bank. उसका nature क्या है? Its nature is this, that it finance, right? Its nature is financing, right? Its nature is financing. But what is its function? Primary function. IBRD. What was the genesis of IBRD? Yes, World War II. World War II was focused on rebuilding Europe. IBRD was focused on rebuilding Europe. Another thing, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. So now this you have to understand. When there is an organization's name is in reconstruction, they don't deviate from that name. अगर reconstruction है ना, तो इर्द गिर्द ही घूमेगा, right? The function will not deviate from the name. So this is how you understand your, understand the nature and function. ठीक है? So is it anything related to this particular thing? No. You have to understand one thing. In order to eliminate, we have to know the nature and function of the important. Henley Passport Index का nature function जानकर कुछ नहीं होगा, right? उसका नहीं होगा, ठीक है. किसका UNDP, UNEP, you have to know the nature and function of these, ठीक है. Okay. NDB is whose bank? New Development Bank, BRICS Bank. Yesterday we studied which country got into New Development Bank, part of OPEC, but not part of BRICS. It is northern. Egypt is part of Egypt is not part of NDB. I will give you a hint and you will understand. Okay, so the hint is this, that Zinedine Zidane was born in this particular country. Acha, that next hint. Okay, next hint is that it is part of Maghreb region. Morocco, it shares only one border with one water body. Djibouti to east side hai. Algeria, right? Remember it in this way. It's like go and watch the video again, like in 2x speed, like when you are having food, right? Okay. New Development Bank, right? NDB. Now understand, it's part of a BRICS bank, right? So nature is that it's part of BRICS bank, right? Function is also obviously like it, like if you see, go and observe their function, it's to finance infrastructure, port, this and that, right? Now, again, another thing about the nature. Who are the members? Who are the members of the BRIC countries? Who are the members? You have your Brazil, Russia, China, India, and South Africa. Now, just imagine there is a group where there is Russia and there is China, right? And most importantly, there is South Africa and Brazil. Why would they be interested in something in Asia Pacific? Right? Why would they be interested in something in Asia Pacific? So this is your nature of the organization. So you can eliminate this as well. Now let's come to Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, AIIB, right? Again, if you use this logic, infrastructure is here, right? Right? Is it about building infrastructure? No. It is financing, let's say, sustainable development. Number one. Second is, it is whose bank? AIIB is whose bank? It is a Chinese bank, right? Again, China does not, two reasons this will not be. One is UPSC will not frame like an initiative, जो Chinese initiative है, that they will, मतलब अब देखो China is such a vivid like जो physical features है उसमें, right? Huge geophysical features. कितने questions आए उसमें? Like in your prelims, not much, right? So this is one reason. What is the second reason? Second reason is this, that like this particular bank, if you see the function, the primary function is to do what? To finance BRI, ठीक है? To bankroll BRIs, ठीक है? So why would they be bothered in investing for like Nature Solutions Finance Hub for Asia, right? And finally, you are left with ADB. ADB is whose bank? Is Japan's bank, and like India is the third largest stakeholder. Second, USA. Second is USA. So it's more like democratic, more sustainably conscious, and Japan is one of the prime countries in where? In Asia Pacific, right? So now obvious question that you will raise is this, Arey sir, it's so very, like in the hindsight you have 20/20 vision. Exam mein, how do you think in this manner? You can't think in this manner in exam if you don't do it now. If you don't do your PYQs. Now, yesterday I was talking about a question. Okay? This was a question. If you remember, in 2025, this question had come. Right? This question has come. One of the modern Indian history question. One of the most difficult questions. It is not there in your standard book. It has not been taught in any coaching institute. But you see, in 1999, this is the person who has been repeated. This is the reason why your PYQ is gold, and we neglect PYQ. I can guarantee you that if you, I think I told you, if you do 5 years of PYQ well, you will get definitely 10 to 12 questions. 10 years of PYQ, 20, 25 questions. And if you do like last 30 years ka PYQ, like 1999 is like going bahut piche, right? You are like, I told you, 2025 when I saw the paper, 35, 40 questions I could easily solve just based on PYQs. Just based on PYQs. The best example is this. 24 isotherms, I think 25 isotherms. Who said there is no guarantee that 25 के जो paper है, 24 के जो paper है, 23 के paper है, 26 they will not be repeated. 5 or 10 questions will not be repeated, but not in the same manner, in a different manner. Agrahata question, remember 2014, they have been asked in 20. So, and what we do, I have to come here and say, we do PT. We do PT. This is your investment. This is your investment. This is your investment in time. Don't waste time. Okay, don't waste time. Okay. Now, people will say that कि अरे ठीक है, मतलब ये तो 1999 में like there was one name, right? Now, just go and see. So this particular. So you take any good compilation, any good compilation. After class, I'll tell you from where I have taken this compilation. I can't say. If you take a very good compilation, last 30-35 years, you don't have to do like all the PYQs, obviously. The reason is this: the current affairs which was important in 1999, how is it relevant now? Right? But static cannot be ignored. So particularly like ancient, right? And had you done, like you have done your research, na, Palushkar, then first like this, the term Gandharv Mahavidyalaya would have come, right? The third link was one Hindu one article where it is mentioned about he opened this Gandharva Mahavidyalaya. Now this is, you invest time in this manner, and you don't have to do it for the entire day. Just 1 or 2 hours a day in the evening when you go to sleep, before going to sleep, and just do these kind of things. Okay, this is how you build. Achha, there is another way to solve this question. There is another way to solve this question. Can anybody tell me? Even if you did not do these things. Gandharva, right? Gandharva is, so what are the two Mahajanpads which are northwest? One is Gandharv, and what is the second one, which is even northwest than Gandharv? It starts with K. It starts with K. Kashmir was not a Kamboj, right? So now, we have studied about 3 forms of schools, right? 3 sculptures, like form of sculptures, right? One was your Amravati, Mathura, and what was the third one? Gandhar, which was famous for what? Hellenistic school of sculptures, right? So from that Gandhara school, Gandhar, can't we come to Lahore? Even if you had done your 16 Mahajanpads, Mahajanpads again is very important. It has repeated 3 times. I'll show it with proof. In 25, there were 2 Mahajanpads question. One is this one, and the second one was the river wala. You remember? This Mahajanpad, Asmaka is beside which, right? So these are the, and it's, I will not believe people who say that, how can we predict questions. It's not about predicting. Like it's UPSC saying you are, it's shaking you up and telling you do your PYQs, and you don't do our PYQs, right? Achha, another reason why this Vishnu Digambar Palushkar was.
I don't know, but I think the city of music is also Gwalior according to the current, the way gastronomy is following Lucknow and Hyderabad. So according to that, the option becomes Gwalior.
No, Gwalior is not the answer. Answer is Lahore. Lahore is the answer, because Lahore, that is the thing, right? It's northwest, right? You're right. Gwalior is the city of music. It's like one of the stalwarts, and even your Ujjain, not city of music, but Ujjain is famous for its temples, right? And its architectures, right? Delhi was a seat of what? Delhi was a seat for your. It was a political seat, मतलब cultural seat नहीं था. Delhi was not a. Yeah, it was a political seat, right? But Lahore, people, when I asked this question, most of them what they do, sir, I have first eliminated Lahore, and rightly so, because we don't think this is what your exam intelligence is. Invest time in your exam intelligence. Don't just ratify things. Achha, another reason why Vishnu Digambar Palushkar was in the news. And I'll tell you about what exam intelligence is also. Vande Mataram has been in the news for some time. This time is very important. Whatever literature you get, I will ask Vikrant to put PIB post. It's an excellent cover. Just remind me somebody. Excellent article, and that is Government of India. PIB is Government of India. UPSC frames questions from PIB, right? We used to make current affairs from PIB, right? Because that is the most. excellent article on Vande Mataram. One of the Vishnu Digambar Palushkar gave voice to one of the person to give voice to your homework. Write down the homework, and this is very important. Who was the first one to sing Vande Mataram? I know you know, right? In which year? And who was the first person to give music to Vande Mataram? This I think a few people would know, and UPSC might ask this. First person to give music, the person who wrote it was Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, right? Or Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, right? Because English could not pronounce Bengali surnames, right? So I am a Bengali, so they could not pronounce Bengali surnames, so Chattopadhyay became Chatterjee, Bandyopadhyay becomes Banerjee, right? And he wrote it in obviously Anandmat, right? And not all the stanzas were taken as a national song. Only 2 stanzas were taken, right? And there's a controversy around it. We'll not go to that. Who was the person? And Rabindranath Tagore first sang it, but who gave music to it? Yes, it's Jadunath Bhattacharya, or he's called Jadu Bhatta, also, or Jadunath Bhattacharya, right? He was a person who gave music, right? So, because these are the reasons why it has been in the news and they have asked it, right? Okay. Okay. Achha, let's not deviate. We'll start with because I have to finish half of Asia, because tomorrow it will be like because tomorrow we are finishing mapping. Tomorrow we'll be finishing mapping, and tomorrow is we'll be dealing with 2 sections. One will be your West Asia and Central Asia, and then done. Mapping is done. So I think I will try to compile all the videos, cut them so that 4-5 hours mein ho jaye. So you can just sit, you can watch at 2x speed in 2.5 hours. You can be done away with it. Okay. Absolutely. 40-50 questions I will make. So one thing is that I have compiled all the PYQs. So today we'll not be doing PYQs, because today PYQs will be tomorrow Q&A, like we did in Africa, right? Right. So pay attention to the class. Tomorrow we'll do Q&A, and all the places which I have brought in here is based on PYQs, why it is important, right? And but the problem with Asia, unlike your Europe and North America or Americas, is that aapko sab karna hai. You have to do everything in Asia. You cannot say that I will not do boundaries, I will not do. So chalo, let's start. Okay, so first we'll start with East Asia and Southeast Asia. So East Asia, so your Japan, your Korea's East Asia, and Southeast Asia will be primarily your ASEAN country. Briefly, what we will do is that we will start from here and we'll come here, and then we'll move to Central Asia and finally West Asia. This will be our trajectory. Okay? Okay. Now let's revise and let's ask some question. Right? We have covered that area. Remember Bering Strait? Remember? Now let's say if you are moving from here to here, and this is, let's say, your Tuesday, what will be this date? It will be Monday, right? Remember this. If it is Tuesday, here it will be your Monday, right? You're moving towards the direction of the earth. Okay? Will not forget. And the magic of PYQ, UPSC asks this question 4 times. 4 times they have asked this question. Okay? Okay. We have discussed this particular plateau, right? Or rather peninsula. Yes, Kamchatka. And why it is famous? What did I say about this particular Kamchatka peninsula? The term fire and ice, because it lies in the rings of fire, and obviously it's near your poles. Recent earthquake also happened, huge earthquake. This is very famous news, good news, right? Recent earthquake also happened in that particular region, right? Now, we have our Bering Sea over here, right? This is our Sea of Okhotsk. We will not forget, right? We'll remember B-O, then J, your Sea of Japan. Uske niche Yellow Sea, and then your East China Sea, South China Sea. As of now, we'll remember this, right? UPSC in this case, in particularly Asia, we have seen they have framed questions keyed from north to south. right? From east to west, they have framed the question. So we have to know the location. So starts like B, I remembered it in this way, BOJY, right? BOJY. So Bering Sea, Okhotsk, Sea of Okhotsk. Sea of Okhotsk is where situated? It is situated on the west side of Kamchatka Peninsula. Remember that? West side of Kamchatka Peninsula. Then you have your Sea of Japan, then you have your Yellow Sea, and then your East China Sea, South China Sea, right? Now, here you have group of islands called Kuril Islands. Kuril Islands is under whose occupation? Russia. This is a huge conflict area. Kuril Islands is under Russia, and one of the conflict region. Mindanao, like we have read, Philippines, you have remember, Mindanao will come, right? It will come, it will feature, right? So similarly, UPSC might give that pair Kuril Islands. So Kuril Islands will know it's a like Russia, right? Okay. Okay. So you will remember the seas. We'll gradually cover all the seas. ठीक है? और बहुत सारे seas हैं, right? There are too many seas. Okay. We'll start with the first news. The first news is obviously, it is Asia. It has to be the dragon, China, right? So China, and it has, like, this is something which has been happening for the last 1 year, and the frequency increased in the later part of 2025. That is, you have your China launching drills where? In the Taiwan Strait. Now, I will tell you from where UPSC will frame question. The map is given here to create a mental or a visual memory, right? So, Taiwan Strait, on the west you have China, and here southeast you have Taiwan, right? UPSC might call it Formosa Strait. We discussed Formosa means beautiful in Portuguese, right? Okay, so we'll not forget that. Another thing, there are few chota islands over here. Now this is like, UPSC will not frame questions, but understand these are the islands, and it's very like alag type ka naam hai, so like it will be very difficult for me to pronounce. Kinmen hai. So these are these are claimed by China. See how closer they are to China, right? But they are occupied and administered by whom? By your Taiwanese government, right? Just remember this. Okay? So here we have to know only this section. And another thing, remember Fujian province. Fujian province is this particular province, Fujian province, right? Fujian province. So Taiwan Strait separates Fujian province of China with Taiwan. Okay? Chalo, we'll move on to the next one. Okay, let's see East China Sea. Now this is very important, and the thing with East China Sea is that the dispute is primarily like the mistake that we make in East China Sea is the dispute between China and Japan. No, it is China, Japan and Taiwan. Taiwan is also in the picture. Taiwan is also in the picture. Right, now how we have, like, let's understand where it is. So it is part of the Western Pacific, which is the Eastern Pacific, which Eastern Pacific will be west coast of US, California, right? That is your Eastern. So this part is Western Pacific, right? And okay, so let's see what seas or land bodies border East China Sea. So we have in the West China, like, let's understand this properly, right? We have China over here, we have Yellow Sea over here, and we'll understand like which river drains into which sea. Not now, we'll do it later, right? We have Sea of Japan, right? Here you have Okinawa Trough. We'll understand this. This is very important. And here you have your Senkaku Island. Senkaku or Diaoyu, depending on China and Japan. They call them based on their own terminologies, right? Okay, clear till here? So you have your China, you have your Yellow Sea, like obviously South Korea, Sea of Japan. Here you have your 4 main islands of Japan. Honshu. So 2 people remember these 2 names. What are the other 2? Okay, Like we'll come to that also. We'll study, right? Okay, okay. Now let's understand this. This is very important. Just a second. Okay, so this is your Raiko Island, right? Now Raiko, or like I don't know the pronunciation will be Raiko or Roiku, right? Now why it is important? Can anybody tell me why these Raiko Islands are important? Fishing is one of the reasons. Yes, of course, fishing, and I want to know the answer. What is the reason? Warm. That is true. That yes, you are saying something. USA. Yes, and in which island US base is there? That is Okinawa Island, right? This Okinawa. It is there in Okinawa Island. Remember this. It is there in Okinawa Island. Okinawa Island. So these are group of islands. Raiko Island is a group of island. मतलब यहाँ पर main जो Japanese island है ना ये खत्म हो रहा है, ठीक है? Here it is ending, and then there's a group of Raiko Islands, and then here is Taiwan, and that is the reason why we have conflict between China, Taiwan, and Japan. See how close Raiko Islands is to Taiwan, right? Taiwan consider themselves an independent country, right? So if they are independent country, they have to exert their sovereignty to those islands which are near, and entire region is about that, exerting dominance, right? So here you have your China, you have your Japan, and obviously Taiwan, and here it connects your जहाँ पर Japanese main island खत्म हो रहा है, it connects Taiwan and this arc, right? Now US has a base here, Okinawa, right? A very, like if you watch movie, there is a very famous movie on Okinawa. ठीक है, चलो. Okay, so Miyako and Okinawa, this is a Miyako state, and there are a lot of states. Like this is the unfortunate thing about East Asia and Southeast Asia. There are lots of states, and UPSC has not dove into such details, but we cannot risk it. वो कर लेंगे. How much it will take? Like 15 minutes, 20 minutes हो जाएगा. ठीक है? Okay. ठीक है? So another thing. Have you heard about this concept, first island chain? What is the first island chain, second island chain, and third island chain? UPSC will not ask in prelims, but it might be important for your mains. First island chain, it's not a geographical terminology. It's a geostrategic terminology. First island chain basically means, it is a terminology that is given by US, right? So basically means that these are the strategic barriers of China, and US has strategic bases. So this is US's third island chain, where it has base in where? Hawaii, right? The second island chain, this is, and US has a very famous base, and it was in the news, where? Guam. Why Guam was in the news? Anybody recently? There were the 3 nuclear reactors were destroyed in Iran, right? Natanz, then there were other 2, right? 3 nuclear reactors were destroyed. B15, B12 or B15, whatever it is, these bombers were first, like in order to create a distraction, it was like they took flight from Guam. In order to create a distraction. Distraction, but actually there were other set of fighters which came from mainland US, right? So this is part of your second island chain. And what is the first island chain which we are talking about? First island chain will be this particular part where you have Japan, right? You have what was the name of that particular base? Okinawa base. Okay. So you'll remember this first island chain, second island chain, and third island chain, right? Okay. Okay, this UPSC might ask, have you come across this term ADIZ? 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 Air Defense Identification Zones. Very important. This ADIZ is not mentioned in any official document First ADIZ was declared by US and Japan. What does ADIZ mean? That if you enter that particular zone beyond your territorial area, you have to inform the country that we are entering, right? So this is one of the component of ADIZ. It's not a sovereign space, right? It's not a sovereign space, right? So it because it's a very high tension area. East China Sea is a very high tension area. Because of that, like Japan and US said that look, before you enter like this particular, you tell us, right? So this is one reason. The second is that like obviously you have your Senkaku and Diaoyu region, right? That's the reason why it is a high tension area. Okay. Now, which particular river flows into your East China Sea? Right, it is Yangtze River, right? It is Yangtze River. There is another river, right? There is a very famous river which flows into East China Sea. So it creates one of the largest whirlpool in the world. Okay, okay. Homework. नहीं ब्रह्मपुत्र नहीं. ठीक है. Okay, so we have understood like this is one of the major areas for fishing. What is the reason for fishing? Major reason for fishing over here, which Oesho and Kuroshio. So basically, like now let's understand this. The Kuroshio current, that is warm currents. The major channel of warm currents. Understand this. Major channel of warm currents pass from the east part of Japan. Right. Major channel I'm talking about. A sub-channel goes through here. A sub-channel. Right, but major channel passes through the eastern part of Japan, and hence we have a huge, rich fishing area over there. Okay. What is the cold current which comes from Oesho currents? Absolutely. Right. So we have the Oesho currents coming here, coming from your northeast. Okay. 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 Shall we move on to the next one? We'll move on to the next one. Okay. Just a small thing. We have seen Yellow Sea here. Yellow Sea, right? This region, this particular region, right? So this particular region, which is it is kind of an enclosed sea. It is your Bohai Sea, right? Just remember this. It's not very important. UPSC will not ask. This is Bohai Sea, and the strait which connects Bohai with Yellow is your obviously Bohai Strait, right? Again, I will tell you, so when you see the video, just fast forward. Like UPSC will not ask about Bohai Strait. Okay? Okay. You have gone through that. Korean Peninsula. This is always in the news, right? And one of the reasons, like what UPSC might ask, and UPSC has, like we're expecting but has never asked this question, that is this particular thing, 38th parallel, right? Like this is one of the densest militarized zone, which was one question, which was the least militarized border? Canada and US. It is yes, it's the longest as well, right? Okay. ICE agents, right? ICE, like is patrolled by ICE agents, but they are not army. Okay, let's see, let's understand here. Right, we have your North Korea, here you have your South Korea. Now this is important. This is your Yellow Sea. What is this particular sea? Bohai. And this is your Bohai Strait, right? East of, this is Sea of Japan. Sea of Okhotsk, upar kya hai? Bering. ठीक है? Will not forget. ठीक है? Bering, Okhotsk, Japan, then Yellow. और beach और side में Bohai. ठीक है? Okay, excellent. Okay, so these seas, Philippine Sea and these other seas will understand when we go there. Okay, okay. So obviously we have your demilitarized zone, and what happened? Which president crossed this demilitarized zone very recently? Trump, right? I'll tell you. So we'll come to this. Actually, when I was researching yesterday, so there was this conflict, like Thailand and the conflict between Thailand and Cambodia, right? And I was reading that Trump has resolved this issue, and that yesterday I was reading a BBC article the कुछ नहीं हुआ. The day he declared that कि I have resolved this issue, the second day there was firing. Right. हाँ. Like I would love Trump not to just cross and stay. Like Kim Jong will say like let's play basketball, right? He's a huge fan of basketball, right? Okay, so we'll see so this is Kuril Island. Can anybody tell me why this particular, and UPSC might ask a question, this particular island is famous? अच्छा दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है क्या? हाँ. No, that is this is Kuril. I'm not sure about Sakhalin. Sakhalin is famous for what? ONGC, Sakhalin, gas, natural gas. Our Videsh ONGC, जो है, they have invested huge amount of money over there to pump in natural gas. That is your Sakhalin reserves, right? Okay. ठीक है? Okay. So here, the four main island. Somebody tell Hokkaido. It's the the northernmost. Then you have Honshu. Honshu is the largest. Then we are forgetting the term, which was the second one. Shikoku. Shikoku is the smallest, right? And then you have your Kyushu or Kaishu. Okay. Now I'll ask you. So here you have your Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji. Is it dormant, active? It is active. So like it's an active volcano. Absolutely. Right. Mount Fuji. Now, have you come across this term, Nagoya? Nagoya Protocol, of course. Have you come across the word Osaka? Detroit of excellent. Detroit of बहुत बढ़िया. Detroit the way he said na Detroit of East. Like it's Detroit. Where is Detroit? US. Detroit of East. And why Detroit? Obviously they manufacture. But Detroit is in which state? Detroit is in which state? Homework देख लीजिएगा. But UPSC will not ask. ठीक है. Okay. Another thing, Osaka track. Have you heard about Osaka track? Osaka track, right? Again, search Osaka, right? Then, obviously, unfortunately, we have this Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? These were the places where, what was the date when the bomb was dropped? When was the date the bomb was dropped? And 15th August, you are right, they surrendered. They surrendered after 7 days. So 6th and 9th. 6th was, on 6th, the bomb was dropped at Hiroshima, and on 9th, the bomb was dropped on Nagasaki, right? And what was the name of the aircraft which dropped the bomb? That was the name of the bomb. What was the name of the plane? Enola Gay, right? Enola Gay. Okay. So now this is how you remember. You will not forget, right? You will not forget. Okay. Shall we move on? हो गया Korea. Now the tiger in the room. You have your South China Sea, right? Now South China Sea. UPSC has asked 2-3 questions from here. And tomorrow we will see those questions. Now, the problem with this particular area is that we approach it wrong. Here, most important thing is that location, where it is situated. We have to understand the politics of it. We have to know the history of it. सिर्फ यहाँ पर मतलब it is the largest, busiest shipping route, which is also important. वो बोलने से नहीं होगा. We have to understand things, right? First, we have to have clear idea that which are the countries involved in this particular conflict. Obviously, you have your China, right? China created this entire figment of their imagination by drawing 9 dash lines. But what does the history say? History says that China had initially drawn 11 dash lines. 2 dash were for Gulf of Tonkin. That was removed later. They had after that 9 dashes, right? And the conflict is this. China claims that I have historical right over here because somewhere some cartographers who draw a map have drawn this 9 dashes, right? इसलिए मेरा है. But what other country says that there is a concept called EEZ, right? Right? Exclusive Economic Zone, right? All the countries says that if I have my like EEZ like 200 nautical miles tak, I can extract resources, I can do fishing, this and that. By that logic, I have the right over that area, right? And hence the conflict is this, that Philippines has in like the island of, just for example here, okay? Like Philippines, right? So Philippines is like, I need 200 nautical miles. But Philippines का 200 nautical miles ये 9 dash, अभी ये 9 dash नहीं है, there are many dashes, but technically, so Philippines nautical 200 nautical miles is again conflicting with your China, right? Similarly, you have Vietnam, उसका भी 200 nautical miles is kind of conflicting. Similarly, we have Malaysia, right? Also again conflicting with. Then we have there is this another country, Philippines we have discussed. Brunei है, Brunei भी है, हाँ Brunei, right? Brunei also is there, right? So primarily there is the clash between these 200 nautical miles where they have exclusive right to extract resources, and obviously the Chinese historical right that because I have drawn those 9 dash lines, तो ये मेरा है, ठीक है? ऐसे थोड़ा ही चलता है, ठीक है? In 2016, what happened? There was an they had taken China to the court, right? And ICJ ruled against China and for Philippines. Philippines was the person to take, but China being China obviously said that मैं नहीं मानूंगी, ठीक है? बाहर में जाए, ठीक है? So this is your primary like history of it. Right, now let's understand the geopolitics now. Obviously the geopolitics is that it is hugely rich in like gas and oil reserves, like huge, and obviously fisheries, like fish, and one of the most important fish, which is like a delicacy for tuna. There is one sea over here which categorically produces tuna fish, right? We'll come to that also, probably not today, tomorrow. Okay. So which are the countries? We have China, Vietnam, Philippines. अच्छा Philippines ना the Philippines लिखते हो. Which is another country who writes the Gambia. There are other countries also, like for example the UAE, right? So the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan. अच्छा Taiwan is also in the picture, right? Now it is a part of Western Pacific Ocean, as I've said. It's a part of Western Pacific Ocean, right? Right. And it is semi-enclosed sea bounded by like let's see the map. एक बार map देख लेते हैं, ठीक है? Taiwan, because like this is the problem when we are reading a flat map. When you see globe देखोगे ना, तो Taiwan is actually very closer here. So it's part of South China Sea. देखिए, South China Sea की part है. And this is very important. This strait, Luzon Strait. Remember the first island का जो concept था, this Luzon Strait actually connects the first island group with the second island group. This is Luzon Strait. Luzon is part of which country? Remember, Luzon is part of Philippines, right? And Luzon is between Taiwan and Philippines. You'll remember, Luzon is between, very important, Luzon Strait, right? Very important. Now, okay, so this is Gulf of Tonkin, right? This is Gulf of Tonkin, and this is Hainan, Hainan. Why Hainan is famous? What is the importance of this particular region? This is part of China. Why Hainan is famous? It's one of the densest and most heaviest section of China that is like armed, right? Their famous fleets, like ship fleets, are located in Hainan, right? ठीक है, okay. So obviously it's one of the world's busiest ship routes, right? one of the busiest, and which is one of the strait that connects your Indian Ocean to Malacca Strait. Malacca Strait. There are other straits also. So Malacca Strait connects to Indian Ocean. There are Sunda and Lombok also. We'll study Sunda and Lombok also. UPSC might ask a question. Okay. So Taiwan Strait connects to East China Sea. Where is Taiwan Strait? Where will be Taiwan Strait? So this is your Taiwan Strait. Okay. Now understand. This is your Taiwan Strait. Uske upar hai East China Sea. We have studied East China Sea. Here you have Luzon. This is Luzon Strait, which is going to the Pacific. Second island, which is the name of that air base. Okinawa is in the first. Guam. Second में Guam है, ठीक है. Third में आपका Hawaii, ठीक है. Now, so this is your Gulf of Tonkin, and here you have your Malacca Strait, which is this strait. Malacca Strait के ठीक नीचे. And UPSC might ask a question, equator passes very close to this particular strait. So here you have Singapore Strait. Okay? So Singapore Strait. So like again, from north to south, they might ask a question, which lies closest to the equator, which strait lies closest to the equator, not your Strait of Malacca. That will be wrong. It will be your Singapore Strait, because this is your Singapore. Okay? So this is your equator, okay? And again, revision, equator passes through which two countries in Asia? Indonesia and Maldives. Indonesia and Maldives, okay? Okay. Okay, till here clear? You have understood like the geography of primary geography of your South China Sea. Now we will come to the geopolitical concerns or geopolitical issues and conflict areas. One big mistake that we make, one conceptual mistake that we make is that we know the terms Spratly Island, Paracel Island, Scarborough Shoals, right? Then your Natuna area. We know these terms, but we don't know the history behind it and the present situation. We'll understand them first. एक बार मैप में देख लेते हैं from north to south, and I'll tell you an easy way to remember, right? Easy way to remember. So you have primarily three places. Your Paracel, right? Your Scarborough and Spratly. From north to south, how do I remember? In alphabet, P comes first. So P will be up in the north. Then two terms come, Scarborough and Spratly. SC, that is C comes first. Spratly, right? P comes later. So again, so first is that first letter will be your north, that is your Paracel Island. And then you will be confused between Scarborough and your Spratly. So SCC will be upper, and then your Spratly. This is the way I remember. Somebody might have a better way to remember thing, right? So Paracel, Scarborough and Spratly Islands, right? Okay. So this is Chinese 9 dash lines. Okay? Okay. Now what we will do is that we'll understand. First we will understand Spratly Islands. So Spratly Islands is where? North, south mein hai. Okay? Excellent. Now this is something is very important. If UPSC asks a question that Spratly Island is occupied by China, it is an incorrect statement. Why? Huh? No. Spratly Islands are a group of islands. Some of them are occupied by China, some of them are occupied by Vietnam, and some of them are occupied by Philippines. Which of them are occupied by China? Fiery Cross Reef, Subi Reef, Mischief Reef. This is the reason why China was taken to the court, right? This Mischief Reef, right? So remember this, these are not separate islands. These are all part of your Spratly Islands. Sorry, not Spratly, Paracel Islands. Paracel Islands, right? These are all part of your Paracel Islands. Or Spratly. Oh, sorry, Spratly. My mistake. So these are all part of your Spratly Islands. That is down south. down south, right? Now, the first three islands, Fairy Cross Reef, Subi Reef, and Mischief Reef, these three are occupied by China, right? And they have built defense forces in there, right? But this again was in the news. Second Thomas Shoal, this particular is under Philippines. And जो हम लोग बोलते हैं ना कि साउथ चाइना सी में कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होता है कहाँ पर होता है, particularly which region कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होता है, like when boats crashes, this second Thomas Shoal, यहाँ पर कुछ नहीं, मतलब they don't have the resources to go and like fight in these areas. These have been already occupied. 2011, 2012, they have already occupied. They have built their, those islands and military setups. is वो खत्म. अभी इसका issue चल रहा है, second Thomas Shoal. If they ask second Thomas Shoal, it is conflict between your China and Philippines. ठीक है? Will remember this? ठीक है? Okay. Obviously it is claimed or partly claimed by your China, Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, Taiwan, and some of them have been occupied by China. Like many countries have occupied part. ठीक है? Now let's come to Paracel. Paracel is where? North, एकदम ऊपर. ठीक है? Now Paracel is entirely, it is administered and controlled by China. Right? It is obviously claimed by Vietnam and Taiwan. Why North में है? Vietnam आप देखिएगा. Vietnam कहाँ पर है? This is your Vietnam, this is your Taiwan, and hence it is claimed by Vietnam and Taiwan Paracel. ठीक है? Then you have your Scarborough Shoal. Now Scarborough Shoal is, now this is important. If UPSC says it's occupied or it's administered by China, no. Scarborough Shoal is not occupied, or it's not occupied, it's there, right? But obviously, like it is claimed by China, Philippines and Taiwan, right? So where is Scarborough Shoals? Remember, Scarborough Shoals is in the middle, ठीक है? और देखो ये Philippines के नज़दीक है. It is near Philippines, ठीक है? Luzon Strait के सामने है. It's like, shoals are very dicey place to build infrastructure because, first of all, they're it's just above the sea level, right? And the reason why, I'll tell you, a very good question you have asked regarding like Scarborough, like why Scarborough Shoal. Just see the geolocation of Scarborough Shoal. It is near your Philippines, where China has completely occupied. Which island China has completely occupied? Your Paracel. And what is this particular? Hainan, right? So that geostrategically also, Paracel is near to China for them to occupy. But Scarborough is like near to Philippines. No, nobody stays there. Like everybody is claiming it, but nobody stays there, right? Okay. Now, finally, we have this one, Natuna area. Now, understand this. Natuna area, we will study when we will be studying Indonesia. Now, it's southern part of South China Sea. Land-wise, there is no conflict. Land-wise, territory-wise, there is no conflict at all. The conflict is here with regards to EEZ. I'll tell you how. So this is your Indonesia, right? Now this is your Natuna Islands. So this is China's 9-dash line. And do you see the Natuna Islands is just below the 9-dash lines? So there is no conflict with Natuna Islands. But the fact that Natuna Islands are here, इसका मतलब क्या हो गया? From here, 200 nautical miles, logic बनता है. The moment it is 200 nautical miles, it comes under 9-dash line. And hence, there is a conflict. ठीक है? ठीक है? You will remember this? Okay. जल्दी से straits देख लेते हैं. We'll see the straits. And after this, I think we'll stop and we'll take up the other countries tomorrow. ठीक है? ठीक है. So first is obviously your Malacca Strait. 25 to 30% of your, global trade passes through it, and major oil flow, like one of the major region where, And what is this is one of the reason why like China is hugely dependent on this particular strait, and US has huge dominance over this particular strait, right? So that is the reason why. Have you heard about this Kra Canal? Isthmus of Kra, very important. Remember this. Isthmus of Kra, UPSC might ask a question. Isthmus of Kra. Isthmus of Kra, and UPSC has asked questions about connectivity in the ASEAN region, right? So it is trying to build a secondary route called Isthmus of Kra through the Isthmus of this Kra Canal through Isthmus of Kra, and entire Isthmus of Kra is in Thailand. Yes. Huh? The southern part? Southern part is Muslim majority. Acha, I did not know that. They have a Muslim majority in Thailand, the southern part. Acha, okay. Then I have to find the conflict area also. They might ask questions. Mindano jaisa. ठीक है, questions पूछ सकते हैं. हाँ. So this is your Isthmus of Kra, right? This is your Thailand. So this is your Isthmus of Kra, this section, right? And they are trying to create, for example, Panama Isthmus, you remember? They have joined which two oceans? Panama Isthmus? Atlantic and Pacific. So here they are trying to join your Indian Ocean or Andaman Sea with your which? South China Sea, right? So this is your Malacca Strait. उसके ऊपर there is Kra Canal, right? Kra Canal. ठीक है? Okay. Then is your Sunda Strait. Have you heard about this Krakatoa volcano? One of the most violent volcanoes, right? It's there in Sunda Strait. Now, what is important, you have to remember, if they ask about Sunda Strait, it lies between where? It lies between Java and Sumatra. Now, tell me, which is Java and which is Sumatra? देखता हूँ. हाँ. This is a mistake we make. Sumatra is the bigger one. This is your Sumatra, this is your Java. So like, this is your Java, this is your Sumatra. Trust but verify. देख लीजिए. Okay. ठीक है. Okay. So now, why this particular obvious question is this, that from here we have Malacca Strait, and let's say that US with Singapore comes together and block this. China can use this Sunda Strait also because they have very close relationship with Indonesia. But there is a problem with Sunda Strait. What is it? It's very shallow. The moment it is shallow, those heavy ships can't sail through, right? So this is the reason why Sunda, like, it has a limited usage. So you'll remember Sunda Strait over here. Then east of Sunda Strait is which strait? Lombok Strait. Very important. So Bali and Lombok. So if I'm not wrong, so somewhere it will be here. यहाँ पर होगा, ठीक है? ठीक है? Sunda के बाद you have your Lombok, right? And it is deep and wide. It is deep and wide and it's suitable for large vessels. ठीक है?